Hey, what's up, garden friends? Kevin here from Field Trippin'. Today's video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about mulch, the power of mulch, but actually I really wanna get into why my mulch pile is steaming so much. Maybe you've had a chip drop at your house or noticed this maybe from your compost pile. Right now we are at the tail end of our winter time here in Northern California, and I've just got my third or fourth chip drop from a local arborist, which is a great way if you wanna get your hands on some free wood chips that come from all the trimmings of the trees. Pretty great. If you need something more uniform and perfect, then go down to your local nurseries or supply centers and then you'll get that. But for us out here in the garden, mulch is the best way to go for helping to protect, preserve, and create and build our soil. It's really great. It slows down the weeds. It protects the soil from erosion, from wind and rain. It builds up the soil as it decomposes. It aids in the microbial life of your soil, so bringing it to life as it breaks down fungi, bacteria, invertebrates. The FBI, they do their thing at breaking it down and converting it back into usable nutrition and soil for your plants. And so it's something that we add to our landscape pretty much every year. A good 3 to 4 inch layer is about what you want. Any less than that, and you might not get the results from your mulch that you might like. So if you're using bark, wood chips, whatever, to slow down the weeds, to make your garden look a little better. It also conserves moisture in the soil, which is so incredibly important here in our climate where it gets really hot and dry. So it's one of those things that you can do to really, it has so many benefits that it provides. And so getting a nice free pile for us here at the school saves us a lot of money. I can use that money elsewhere for better, getting tools and other supplies that we may need, seeds and fertilizers and whatnot. But for us, you can see behind me, I don't know if you can see it too well with the lighting, but this thing is steaming pile of mulch. It got delivered just this morning. And so let's talk a little bit about why our mulch piles are steaming. So let's take a closer look. All right, so let's dive right in. You can see right here, this is a pretty typical wood chip pile. It came from our local arborist, as I mentioned, and so it's a mixture probably of several different plants. You can see some conifer leaves in there. You can see some broadleaf weeds in there from other plants, different colored chips. Once we get it all laid out, it actually all kind of blends together. The sun will kind of cook it a little bit, and then it'll all blend together and look really nice. You won't even notice. I just put a thermometer. I have a compost thermometer. It's a nice long thermometer designed for this. So I got it right into the heart, but I just put it in there. So we'll check back in a moment. But you can see when I put it in there, it was at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see if I can clear that out. It's already up to 85, 90, and it's rising. Let's see, we'll come back, but you can see this. So there's steam in there. Let's get to the science of this. Why is this wood mulch pile steaming? And you may already know, but it is bacteria. It is the breakdown of this organic material by all these microbes, these microorganisms that are just incredible. As you may know, healthy soil is alive, it's living. Even just a handful of healthy soil should have more microbes than there are humans on the planet. So healthy soil could have, just a handful, could have billions of microbes in there. And so it's pretty important for our garden, our soil to feed those microbes, feed the bacteria, feed the fungi. They'll break it down, and then so you can see all this steam pouring off. I'm trying to catch it at the right angle. It's pretty cold outside, so what's happening is all this bacteria is in there, and it's starting to proliferate. It's starting to nibble away at this organic matter and break it down. And as it multiplies and as it continues to nibble away at this material, it generates a lot of heat and even gases. There's moisture in the pile. And so what you're seeing is that the heat and the moisture, as it's so warm, it comes up to the cold air, condenses, and then now we're seeing it release as steam. It's really tricky to kind of capture it, because in person, I'm noticing that it's really thick. But on camera, it's not quite as pronounced, but you can kind of see it here. I'm trying to get it from different angles. So that's what's happening. There's millions to billions of microbes obviously in there doing their thing, reproducing, nibbling away, trying to take advantage of all the surface area of all this freshly broken up wood chips, leaves and branches and whatnot. And it is, you put your hand on there, you can actually feel the heat of it. Like it's cold outside, but it's really warm right here. And let's check back at our thermometer. And now it's up almost over to 100 degrees. A few days ago, we had our wood chip pile here, and it was over 130 degrees. Now, if your mulch pile, this will happen also in your compost pile, But a fresh wood chip pile that's had a little bit of time to cook is really gonna heat up. We will probably get this shoveled out and wheelbarrowed into the orchard. You can kind of see where we've left off a little bit. Look, there's our October peach. Oh, a little late season peach. I cannot wait. We planted that one just last year, trying to get it to scaffold out and create a nice little canopy for it. But you can see we've already added some mulch in and around this landscape. We did a bunch to some of our other landscapes, but you can see we've kind of hit a spot where we ran out. I still have to get some down near the fence, and so this is really going to be helpful. And like I said, keeping moisture in the soil, so it reduces how much irrigation that we need to do, or irrigating. So it's really great for that. But just the weeds, the soil building, the soil preservation. It also regulates the soil temperature. So in the summer, if you're afraid of that heat, just baking some of those surface roots, the mulch is great for that. You can see right here, we definitely need some. But the mulch is just fantastic for protecting those roots from getting too hot, too cold, by regulating the temperature, just like kind of like an insulator. So there's so many benefits to it. I'd be curious, please leave in the comments below, why do you love mulch so much? Do you use mulch? What is your favorite kind of mulch? There's so many. There's micro bark, there's chunky bark, there's shredded cedar, there's playground bark, there's just random wood chips like this that you get. There's so much to choose from. The only mulch that I really don't like, that I'm not in love with, but some people really enjoy, is the painted bark, or sometimes you see it painted red or painted black. Honestly, just not my preference. I kind of like the natural materials better, but where they're unpainted. But that's just me. Do your thing. That's what's kind of fun about gardening and landscaping. Everybody has their own choice, but you can, like I said, you can see the steam just pouring off this thing. It's fun because my students will come out here, and even just at the surface, not even at the heart, at the surface right here, this is warm. Like, it's warm like a cup of coffee. Maybe not hot like coffee, but it's warm. So it's pretty cool. The microbes are doing their thing. It's such an important part. It kind of illustrates what's going on out in the garden. Maybe not at scale, but the bigger the pile, the hotter it can kind of get. If it gets too big, too hot, too dry, there's potential, just like hay fire, that they could spontaneously combust. So, but it's really, that's kind of rare, and especially for a pile this size, it's probably not going to get to that temperature, especially if we get it used up. You'll notice as we dig up, I've noticed as the pile shrinks, it'll start to lose that heat. So having, just like your compost pile, size matters. If your compost pile is just too small, then you're not really going to generate that heat to get a lot of that, to create a hot compost pile. But this certainly is. And at this size or bigger, man, this thing is going to cook. And especially if it gives it a little bit more time. Like if I left this here and didn't do anything today, we'd probably come back to an even hotter pile tomorrow morning. But we're gonna get it gone. But you can see we're just over hitting 100 degrees, and it is cold out here. You can't tell, but it is a cold winter day, at least cold for California standards. Anybody else, and probably in the Midwest or beyond, is probably like, that's not cold. Where's the ice? Where's the snow? But pretty cool. So that right there is gonna be instrumental in just really setting up this landscape for some success. I'll just show it off a little bit so you can kind of see the difference. So here, and we've added mulch out here before. You can see there's our irrigation, needs to be played with a little bit, but you can see we've added mulch out here before, but every couple years we'll, as we can get it donated, I try to avoid purchasing it so we can save money for other things. But it really, I mean, just from a makeover standpoint, I mean, I'll show you our other landscape on a different video, but man, we literally just did a prune, like a pruning, a cutting, like clipping the plants, and then a mulch makeover. And man, just cutting the plants back and then mulching, it was like a brand new landscape. And we didn't even add any new plants or do anything else. It was just that. So you can see over here, I'm considering mulching this pathway, or we might clear this out and do a nice little DG of decomposed granite to make it nice and friendly and welcoming and flat for people to walk on. But sometimes, I don't know, the mulch is just so cool. I just love it. And it'll eventually kind of flatten down and settle and rest as it breaks down. But I just want to show it off, and that's what we're doing. That's why your mulch pile is steaming. So if you notice, you get a nice chip drop and it's just hot, it's steaming. That's a good thing. It's not bad. Typically, that's not a good thing. Typically, it is good. So for us, we love it. Mulch is fantastic, and it's nice to know that there's microbes in there doing their thing. We want that soil to come to life. And mulch, wood chips, is just a super fantastic way to improve your garden, to improve your soil, protect it, and just nourish it. Like I said, it doesn't hurt that it slows down the weeds and has all these other benefits as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like, share, subscribe, and all that wonderfulness. And we'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening to you all. And please never stop growing.